Yo guys, I pray that you're all in good health. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is JoKa. I'm a Tekken player who's based in the UK, Birmingham, and I like to travel and compete in tournaments at an international level. So in today's video, I just want to give my thoughts on Tekken 8 so far from what we've seen. I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, but I'm glad that I waited because, as you guys may know, Bandai Namco has been giving us a lot of information about the game in the past few weeks and months. We've seen trailers, gameplay footage, and there's also many people that got the chance to play the Tekken 8 alpha. Now if I'm going to be totally honest, my initial thoughts on the game when they gave a 35-minute presentation at the Tekken World Tour Finals about the gameplay mechanics, the concept and whatnot, I was pretty concerned, and the main reason why is because of these two clips I'm about to show you.
はい、バトルコンセプト、今回アグレッシブということで、皆さんこれもう耳にした方も、多いかと思いますけれども、改めて、今回のこのテーマはもちろん、ゲームシステム、ももちろんそうなんですけど、エフェクトであるとか、こうステージの演出であるとか、あらゆる、このゲームの中に出てくる要素に対して我々はテーマの、キーワードとしてアグレッシブというのを使っています。これまた今回初めて皆さんに説明するゲームシステムにも、大きく関わってくるところなので、このキーワードを覚えていてください。アグレッシブです。
そうですね、バトルで、目指すゲーム性としては3つ、大きく、ポイントを掲げております。1つは、攻撃を仕掛ける側より楽しめるような、バトルにしたいというところが1点で、次に、より分かりやすい勝負どころだったりクライマックスのような体験ができるようにする。でもう一つは、キャラクターの個性や特徴を強化してよりアグレッシブに戦えるっていうようなバトルシステムを目指しています。
I remember after watching this part of the presentation live, and this was before they even showed us the gameplay footage of Paul and Law. I was speaking with some of our friends that were sat next to me, and we were worried because of the repetitive use and emphasis on the word aggressiveness, which we weren't really too keen on for obvious reasons. But as time's passed and we've had the opportunities to see more gameplay footage, and also digest all the information that's been given to us, I'm definitely a lot more optimistic now that I have a clearer understanding of the gameplay mechanics, and also hearing other people's opinions on the game after they got their hands on the alpha. Now that's just coming from them. I'm really excited to try out the alpha for myself, which I will be doing very soon at the mix-up. The first thing I'd like to talk about when it comes to the things I like about the game is the way the game looks and the overall presentation of the game. Now I'm sure I'm not alone when I say this, but Tekken 8 is looking to be probably the best looking fighting game out there, and it's just amazing how it looks stunning in every single aspect. From the little things like the facial expressions of characters, the different camera angles, how impactful the moves look, feel and sound. The attention to detail is super impressive, and there just seems to be so much of an upgrade from the previous game. On top of that, I'm a big fan of the theme and art style they're following when it comes to the loading, stage select and windscreen, which makes the game look very stylish and clean. The craziest thing about this is that apparently the developers have stated in a recent interview that they are not very happy with how the game currently looks, so I can't imagine how the final build will look like in due time. Now let's talk about the redesigns. It's pretty obvious that Bandai Namco is putting in a lot of effort, as listed on the website, that the game features high definition character models which are built from the ground up, and that certainly shows from what we've seen so far. I think all of the redesigns look outstanding besides Paul's. I don't know what they were thinking when it comes to his hair, and was hoping that they'd return to the old Tekken 4 hairstyle which looked cooler. My favourite designs so far though are Kazuya, Law, Jack and Jun. I can't wait to see more reveals, especially for characters like Feng, Brian, Dragunov and Steve. I'm glad that there's more special intros now which look hype, and it gives characters along with the lore so much more depth. I guess we can anticipate more of these since we have characters like Paul and Law in the game, with more to be announced. I can imagine that there's work being done to the story since it's an important part of the franchise, and since Tekken 7's story was so lackluster. Rage Arts are back, which look better than ever, along with the addition of Rage Art KOs. All of them are a big improvement from Tekken 7, especially Kazuya, Law's and Leroy's, which are my favourite. Nobody can tell me that this doesn't look sick. Just take a look at the way he kicks his opponent after doing his Rage Art. I love that there's so much personality and character identity being shown and expressed, which is something that was missing from Tekken 7 but was long needed. Unlike Tekken 7, we now have a visual variety of stages, and the ones they've shown so far look really good. Some of them are really big, like Yakushima and Colosseum, which is interesting since I wonder if infinite stages will still be in the game. One thing I'm not really worried about when it comes to Tekken 8 is the OSTs. We've heard some of them from the gameplay footage and the trailers, and they sound good. For the most part, the franchise has really good music, besides the odd stages like JoKa Helipad Night for instance. Now, as you can see from this screenshot, which is from Spag's complete overview video, definitely check that out if you want to see more Tekken 8 content. There's many changes that have been made to the overall game system. Now, the first one, which is running tackles no longer existing, I don't really mind. Number 2, which is forward into hold forward, which makes you run. I guess this is done to make it easier for newer players to approach their opponents, so this one I don't really mind too much either. Number 3, which is wall bounces seem to no longer exist. I'm really happy about this change since some wall bounces in Tekken 7 were overtuned, so I'm excited to see how Tekken 8 plays without wall bounces. Number 4, which is get up kicks no longer knockdown, I'm really happy about this change too. Number 5, which is Magic 4 no longer launches. Now this is probably the biggest change. I'm happy about this change and that they no longer launch and that you have to commit to the follow-up. But I wonder what the other defensive options to aggressive play could be. Number 6, which is rage arts are only -13 and not launch punishable. Now this obviously promotes people using rage arts more, and I guess this could be a defensive option. I think rage arts, for the reward that you get from them, should be launch punishable, and I hope to see that get changed. Number 7, which is spring kicks no longer knocking down, is definitely a change I can get behind and I'm happy about. Number 8, which is low parries no longer give combo extenders. This is by far the best change because in Tekken 7 you got way too much damage off of low parry combos. I'm really happy that they got rid of the combo extenders for low parries. And lastly, number 9, which is chip damage exists. I think for this one we'll have to play the game for ourselves to see how this works, but this isn't something I'm too worried about. Now moving on to the game system similarities. I think the only ones I want changed from this list are number 1 and number 3. I think flip over Okuzemi situation should not exist in any Tekken game. And if the movement is the same as Tekken 7, I hope they've at least made changes to some moves' hitboxes, because I feel as if in Tekken 7 some moves tracked way too well. Now let's talk about the final topic of today's video, which is the heat system. Now it's cool to see new mechanics being added to the game and that they're willing to try things out, but I hope it's balanced. And you guys know what I mean when I say balanced. I was very relieved to hear that heat can only be used once per round, but I'm still worried about heat engages. Heat engages only activating on hit is a really good decision made by the dev team, but they still need to be balanced across the roster. What I mean by this is moves like Paul's quarter circle back 2, Jin and Kazuya's forward 2, Asuka's sidestep 2, and Leroy's down 1+2, which are currently heat engages, is quite scary. All these moves that I just mentioned are safe in Tekken 7. Now if they're still safe in Tekken 8, they can easily be abused in neutral. It's going to take some time and labbing for the heat system to flesh out, but in due course it will determine how good some characters end up being. I'm interested to see how players utilize this in different situations, like in neutral, in combos, or just coming up with strategies. To conclude, I'm really excited about Tekken 8 and I can't wait to see how the game develops from the alpha. Just to reiterate something important guys, is that the information in this video is from an alpha build of the game, so it's not guaranteed to remain that way up until release. Here's some tweets from people that did manage to get their hands on the alpha at EVO Japan. The first tweet is from Super Okuma, which reads, "My theory about the new Tekken 8 direction seems right. It's amazing. The game seems a lot less combo centric. There are less launches and combos feel shorter even if you use every extender." The second tweet is from Aria aka Blasted Slami, which reads, "Played about an hour of Tekken 8 with Sephi Black. It's very fun and dynamic, but it's also a brawl. They weren't kidding about aggression. Lots more plus frames and many moves are safer on block. Movement also felt heavier to me. Felt a bit overkill given heat and move changes." And the last tweet, which is from Infanax, that reads, "Just played 25 minutes of King in Tekken 8 and I have to say this game feels good. Also, down back 3 no longer counter hit launches and combo damage isn't too high, so the game feels a lot more focused on interactions in neutral than raw combos." Some pretty interesting takes there. But anyways guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are about Tekken 8 in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.